just a little bit of background. We go a long way back. Our team in research platforms. We Many of us came from the world of Western research platforms, working with the likes of Ovid and ProQuest and EBSCO, and we distributed the majority of those products in societies like IEEE, Elsevier, Wiley, McGraw-Hill into the Middle East for many years before a core team of us established Al Manhal and wanted to do the same thing for Arabic and Middle East studies research as what we had been seeing the evolution in English language and Western research platforms. And we built it to adhere to all of the same standards, the tools that researchers expected, tools like full text search and citations and copy pasting and different types of citations and reading aloud and bookmarking and sharing, as well as being indexed by discovery platforms like EDS and Summon and OCLC and Google. And then on the back end, we knew that librarians needed, in order to incorporate a platform into their research ecosystem, they needed it to adhere to international library standards like MARC records and single sign-on and remote access and Athens and easy proxy and linking into library systems and discovery platforms and IP authentication and counter compliance statistics and all of those kinds of standards. And then we started seeing, like many of you did, probably about 10 years ago, that open access really started becoming a movement, and publishers started, or librarians started forcing some of the big publishers to evolve their models into open access. And we didn't see this in the Middle East for Middle Eastern content for many years. And recently, we've seen a big change, and we've been at the forefront of seeing this change. And we thought that this was a topic that would appeal to many Middle Eastern and Islamic studies librarians and subject specialists around the world. The title, Impact of Open Access on Global Arabic and Islamic Studies Research. The truth is, the short answer is we don't know the impact yet, because the movement has really only started. We can say that we believe it started happening in a much bigger way in the beginning of COVID and during COVID. We've spent the last 10 years as Al Manhal going to university presses in the Middle East and research centers. And everybody understands that academic books and scholarly books, libraries and patrons and users expect to subscribe or to purchase academic books, either by subscription or by perpetual access, either by collection or by single title. But when it came to journals, many of our universities, King Abdulaziz University, Cairo University, Jordan University, UAE University, they still expected to get royalties and to get paid for the journals that they published and to make a profit in doing so. And so over a 10-year period of Al Manhal aggregating content, we were able to aggregate about 450 to 500 peer-reviewed titles in that model, and it totaled about 80,000 articles. But during COVID, we saw, and then in the last 2 years, our content acquisition team, every time they go to university presses and to research centers, it's been much easier for us to convince them of the model of open access. We've been able to increase in a 2-year period of time, we have aggregated over 6 times as many articles in an open access model as we had in 10 years of the traditional model of royalties being paid back to journal publishers. We believe that, like, that this was due to a number of factors. Middle Eastern librarians and, the rise of the Gulf and Dubai and Abu Dhabi over the past 10 years in the library communities. We've had some major international conferences happening here about librarianship, like IFLA and such. And there's been a lot of knowledge transfer. Mila, Mesa, AFLI, IFLA, SLA, the Middle Eastern librarian community and the researchers have been exposed and learned the models of open access, and they've started demanding it of their universities here in the Middle East. Another important factor is that probably about 70%, 60 to 70% of the research that is published in Arabic in the Middle East, from the Middle East, is in the social science and humanities. And approximately the same figure of between 60 to 70% of a university's population, the public university's population in the Middle East, is social science and humanities. And those professors, those researchers, those PhD and master's students are studying and researching and reading and writing and authoring in Arabic, and they're publishing in Arabic journals. And when there wasn't any global exposure, they were not getting citations, they were not getting ranking, and the university was following what may be a global trend of requiring perish or publish or perish, and it being a major factor of an academician's career is publishing. Then they were seeing that they were falling behind compared to their counterparts studying STEM. And so we started seeing the authors of Arabic research, whether it was articles or academic books or theses, demanding from their universities that they start making their research more globally exposed and start exporting it to the world. Something else we have seen, and we'll show it, is in the last 10 years and in the last 5 years, we've seen a dramatic increase in the demand for Arabic and Middle Eastern originating content globally. Where we started at Manhal 10 years ago, and our main customers were, of course, in the Middle East. Now it's universities from all over the world that have either an Arabic, a Middle Eastern, or Islamic, or comparative religious studies program, and they are wanting and needing content from the Middle East and from the universities in the Middle East. And, we're in 2023, so authors and researchers in the Middle East are adhering more to the standards required that allow us to index their Arabic journals and to make them full-text searchable and to put them into the platforms that are being used by some of your universities and many other universities in the world. This is our global traffic. And you see, it's been 10 years into the journey of Al Manhal. We have 400, and as of yesterday, we have 408 universities, public libraries, national libraries, and research centers subscribing from around the world. Probably about 25 in North America, another 25 or 30 in Europe, all of the German consortium, national license in Germany, Scandinavia. Oxford has a perpetual collection in Spain, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Helsinki. In the US, it's a Yale, Duke, Chapel Hill, Georgetown, George Washington, Berkeley, just to name a few. But this is not the universities. This is where the users are coming from. And you see, it really does. It spans the globe, of where Arabic is either the first or the second, or a language that is growing rapidly. Um, we have about 700,000 users. Like last year, 4.8 million individual active users were researched the platform from these 408 universities, and they downloaded about 44.5 million documents. Um, of these 4.8 million active individual users, 700,000 have created bookshelves. And so we can see the kinds of things, anonymously, of course, is what the trends in what they're looking for, in search terms, and the such. And this is where we started seeing the limited open access collection that we had was starting to get a lot more usage. And this is where we started wanting to grow it further and further. In terms of countries that are using our platform, it's not a surprise that some of the top ones are from the Middle East, but then the United States comes in the top. I think it's number 11 or 12. But then you do see that there is usage coming from across the globe. The reason I show this is just to show that it took us 10 years of aggregating content and digitizing content, and our ebook collection, approximately 20,000 ebooks in these subject collections. It took us 10 years to get 90,000 articles from 460 peer-reviewed journals and dissertations and reports. This is the countries that it comes from. But then, when we started 2 years ago to go and start acquiring open access content and putting the open access model in front of universities, in 2.5 years, we have our open access collection from the Middle East. We have 2,684 journals and 1.1 million articles. They're in different phases of being indexed in our platform. They should be completely indexed by March of next year. But this is the amount of content that we've been able to, for them to provide it to us in open access format. About 715,000 articles are in Arabic. Then, of course, there is content coming from the Middle East in English. And then, of course, from the Maghreb al-Arabi, from Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Lebanon. There's open access content coming in French. We have two different open access collections. We have one open access collection that is open access articles from the Middle East. And then we launched our second open access collection, which is open access articles about the Middle East. And these would be open access articles that are published from around the world, but are about the Middle East or about the Islamic world. So they could be from North American journals, they could be from Sage, from Brill, from Taylor and Francis, they're from European journals. In all of these different languages, it's about the Middle East. What we wanted to have is to make El Manhal to be the most comprehensive research platform for anything from or about the Middle East and the Islamic world. And it covers these different languages. What we're seeing with the advent, we've launched dashboards and analytics dashboards to show authors how their content is being used in the platform, as well as dashboards for institutions that have the platform to see how their patrons are consuming the content. This is an example of a university being able to see what search terms are being used and such. With that, I'll pass it over to Abdul Ghafoor, and we'll leave some questions at the end for a question and answer. Abid?
Thank you very much, Rani. Um, During this demo, I will be here to provide the guidance to help you make the most of Al-Manhal. Let's embark on this demo together and explore the endless potential Al-Manhal holds for your professional growth, inshallah. Al-Manhal offers a vast collection of academic content, including over 20,000 ebooks, more than 90,000 articles, and database of more than 9,000 theses. One of the significant advantages of Al-Manhal is the recently added collection of over 1.6 million open access titles. Al-Manhal provides a user-friendly platform that enables easy searching, browsing, including advanced features like highlighting, note-taking, citation tools, and more. We can begin our search on Al-Manhal. For example, let's start with banking and search. As we said, Al-Manhal contains book theses, reports, journals. Today we talk about open access, so I will choose the document type open access. And there's the titles. We have 23,000, more than 23,000 results. If we have an access for one of these articles, we can find all information. It's available, the author, main topic, publishers. If I need the abstracts, I can copy paste the abstracts and use it. I can share this articles. I can add it to my bookshelf, download. If I need more details about this journals, I can find it here and we can read it. Let's start and open this article. This is an example for open access results. What we can do with this article, from right side, I can download, I can screenshot, print, share, I can add annotate, citation, it's available. It's the only resources in Arabic provide the citation in different style, ABA, Chicago, Harvard, MLA, and so on. So we can use the citation in different style. And we can highlight, add to myself, and read the any paragraph or any word. What we can do with this article, it's full text searchable, so I can copy paste, I can translate, I can add a note, highlights, and so on. So if we the note here for this paragraph, and click here and add any note I needed and save it. Also, I can highlight and use it again. We can translate from any language to another to any language. So if I need to translate any word, I can select the language from English to Arabic, from Arabic to English. All languages are available. So if we faced any issue with any word in Arabic or in English or in French to know what exactly mean, I can translate this. This is to help us to to find the valuable information from any article available on Al-Manhaj. This is one in English. I will test in Arabic. We will search again in Arabic to find the result. So I will search on الدراسات الشرق الأوسط, for example. And I will select open access only. to find the results. It is in Arabic. So if I click on this, for example, السياسة الخارجية. كل شيء موجود بالإنجليش موجود بالعربي. So the citation, it will be available also in Arabic, and it support the researchers to use the citation in the styles. So let's start with this, for example, for this paragraph. And if I need to copy this paragraph, we will find the paragraph here with the citation in MLA style. I can change the style to APA, to Chicago, and so on. So we can copy paste the citation and use it in my research. Also, we can the same what we did in English. We can highlight, we can add a note, we can translate. For example, this is from Arabic to English. So I can choose a language, Arabic to English, and translate it to English.
So let me add something here. In the last 5 years, it was really it was our North American subscribing institutions, libraries, and from Germany as well, the German consortium that started asking us for more content in English and in French and in other languages about the Middle East. We started getting requests about open access as well. And this is where we went to develop this, the Al Menhal collection further, to where I say now we believe it to be the most comprehensive research platform for anything from or about the Middle East or the Islamic world in any language. With that in mind, may I ask if anyone has a specific search term, whether it's in English or in Arabic, that they would for us to use? You can just type it into the chat, and we can do another search using that, and we can show the results of how the open access collection differs from the copyrighted collection. Thank you, Emma, for your for typing this out.
Syrian Ismailis.
Syrian Ismailis. Go for it, Abid.
That's an interesting one.
Okay, Syrian. Okay.
Definitely, and if you do the search in the main search engine, and then sort it out to open access, to show how the open access link works.
Sure.
Do one in Syrian Ismailis in English, وبعدين do the same search for Arabic,
sure.
and let's see.
Sure, I will do. We'll start with in English. Alman has suggested some titles here, so I need to search in full text. Search. And this is the result. We have 23,000 results. I will choose the open access. We have 10,
You're searching
more than
first
10,000.
Syrian and then Ismailis?
No, only Syrian.
لا Syrian Ismailis.
Okay.
Ismaili.
Just to make sure.
المصادر التعليمية المفتوحة. Open education resources. We'll do that one next.
Okay, this is a Smiley. Okay,
What's
I
the
will
results,
select open.
Abed?
The results is 25,000 results.
Yeah.
That's
We have
interesting.
How many
more than
articles, books?
11. We have 6,500 articles. We have more than 300 books and more than 11,000 open access. We have 800, more than 800 reports and 6,000 theses. So if I choose the open access only, there's the results, the same. The author, main topic, publishers from Taylor and Francis. I can see the abstract and open the article. I will search now in Arabic.
There's a question from Wasim. Is that Syria and Ismaili or Syria or Ismaili?
It would be Syria
No,
and
it's
Ismaili.
And Ismaili. For sure, you can use or and from advanced search, you can find every filters here. You can add many fields and you can add and or remove some words from your search from advanced search. You can use the fields from here and choose the publication years and so on. From refined tools, we can find here from left main topic, publisher country, publishers, publisher year, document language, and so on. So you can select anything you need. So if we need in Arabic, we have 90 resources from in Arabic about this topic. And there's an example. This is from open access only. العوامل المؤثرة في البطالة في الجمهورية العربية السورية، تطور الأزمة السورية، وهكذا.
Great. I think Dr. Iman also had a search request. المصادر.
Open resource مصادر المفتوحة التعليمية.
مصادر التعليمية المفتوحة. أوكي.
And while the requests are coming through, just so you know, we'd be more than happy to give you a trial of Al-Manhaj, so you can
definitely.
You can certainly search to your heart's content. Any search terms that come to your mind in your time, in your free time, in your spare time, or in your work time. So we'll certainly set you up with a free trial if you would like.
This is the result from for المصادر التعليمية المفتوحة. We have 48 more than 48 articles, 17,000 كتاب, 1,200 open access and so on. على غرار impact factor in English, المنهل creates something called M factor. هذا الرقم بيعطينا indication كم مرة تم قراءة هذا المصدر على مستوى المشتركين في المنهل على مستوى العالم. فمثلا هذا
in English,
article,
Abid?
yeah, this M factor, the same of impact factor, just to show us how many researchers open this document type. So this gives us indication how is this topic is strong and usable for me. For example, the readers for this article was more than 500. For example, this book more than 17,000 reads. So this gives us indication about this topic or documents.
Abid, let me just take over here for 1 second.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it's something I would like to show, because this is the kind of partnerships that we are looking to build with our partnering institutions. Like I had said, we're very thankful and we're proud of the last 10 years of building Al Manhal to where it's come today, in that we believe it to be the largest network of Middle Eastern, Arabic, and Islamic studies researchers and research institutions globally. So last year was about 4.8 million individual researchers were used the Al Manhal platform. This year we're on track we're expecting about 5.5 to 5.7 million users to have searched the platform, and they downloaded 44.5 million last year. We're expecting to end the year this year at approximately 55 to 56 million documents downloaded. What does this touch on? There isn't an impact factor for Arabic journals or publications. And this is where Abid has been talking about the M factor. And this is where our contributing authors in the Middle East were asking us, well, how does my publication rank? And we launched M factors, and then we launched author profiles. And this is an author profile that shows this author from UAEU, United Arab Emirates University. And she has 4 publications, and it shows the ranking of them and how many times they've been viewed, downloaded, cited, copied, pasted. And it also shows where in the world people are accessing her publication from, and year by year. And this continues to evolve. And then here's the H index factors over here. Now, what some of our institutions in North America and in Europe have asked us is that they have small Middle Eastern studies or strategic studies or Islamic studies programs, and they may be published. They're usually either publishing their articles in open access or university journals that are open access, but then they also have theses that are being published, and they're recognizing that probably one of the best places for that research to be exposed is on our platform, because we have more than 5 million active relevant users that are searching it on a daily basis from around the world. So we're entering into relationships with them that, apart from subscription and apart from perpetual access or open access, that they are then we're getting into relationships like with tokens, like with open access tokens, and they are getting bundles of tokens to then be able to upload and index their content into the Al Manhal platform, and then expose it to our global network of Middle Eastern and Islamic studies researchers globally. This was something that it came from a university in North America where they told us, you know, we have a very small program, but our researchers are very serious. And our PhD users that are using your platform, they subscribe to the platform for their PhD and their master's program students. They're using the platform to conduct their research, and now they're telling us that they would like for their research to be included in the platform. And then we developed these models around there. Another model that we developed for the North American market is the evidence-based acquisition model. And this was requested by universities in North America again, and in Europe. And it was where they wanted to be able to have access to the entire collection, but then have a certain amount of credit that could be used at the end of the subscription period, if you will, and they could use that credit to look at usage, to look at the content that was being most used and highly used books, and then to acquire and own the perpetual rights of that content, and own that content forever. We have another question here. Okay. With that, I know we're coming to towards the end.
We have a question. We have a question for Wasim. Can individual scholars upload their content, or is it only for subscribers?
Wasim, we're continually evolving these models. And yes, we have received requests from individual research authors to upload their content, and if you have scholars like that in your institution, then get in touch with us, and we'll develop. And we do have a model in place, and we're continuing to develop it. So we do have a developed institutional model, and we have a developing individual model as well. Our intent, it's our objective, is to aggregate be the largest repository of Middle Eastern, Arabic, and Islamic studies research globally, and in all languages. And there's content coming out of all countries. We have content now from we have some amazing content in Islamic banking and finance from Malaysia. It's really accelerating in this way, and when institutions get in touch with us, and we're getting into relationships with them, so that they can benefit their patrons by having access to Al-Manhal, both copyrighted and open access, in order to conduct their research. And then after they've conducted their research, for Al-Manhal to be a main platform to expose that content globally. For institutions, if an institution is contributing content to Al-Manhal, then we have institutional dashboards so that they can see how their content is being used globally across the network. It tells them what researchers globally are searching within their content, and it's meant also to show them what the global Middle Eastern and Islamic studies community is finding most valuable in their content, in order to help drive their publishing decisions, their research decisions, and to be a tool to enable further research in the field.
Thank you, Rani.